We continue now at the top of Daf Kufam and Beis Meseches Shabbos. This is Shabbos Daf 100b. The Gemara just finished saying that if something comes within 3 tefachim of the ground in Rosh Hashanah, it still needs to stop a little. It needs to have a little bit of a hanacha to be considered at rest. It's not automatically considered to be at rest. This follows according to the Rabbanan, who don't hold of klut to kamash uncha dami. Of course, according to Rabbi Akiva, who holds of klut to kamash uncha, it doesn't matter if it's within 3 tefachim or not. As long as it's in the Rosh Hashanah, it's considered landed in the Rosh Hashanah, even if it's just traveling through the Rosh Hashanah. But according to the Rabbanan, the Gemara said it needs to come to rest. And now Ravina is saying, Lav hainu masnisin. That halacha that you're saying right now, that's really the Mishnah. V'yamar Rabbi Yochanan v'ushanach al gavi mashu. Rabbi Yochanan said it needs to come to rest at some point. Rashi here says, Lav hainu masnisin dekatani chutz la'arba amos v'neskalgel v'chulu chayiv. It said in the Mishnah that if you throw an item more than 4 amos in Rosh Hashanah and it rolls back into within 4 amos, you're still chayiv. V'yamar Rabbi Yochanan v'ushanach. Rabbi Yochanan said it has to come to some rest. It has to pause a little bit when it gets to the 4 amos. Halonach, but if it didn't come to rest, lo, then you wouldn't be chayiv. Lo ukma Rabbi Yochanan kagon Shabbat Soch Gimel. Rabbi Yochanan doesn't say that as long as it's within 3 tefachim of the ground, that's enough to be considered hanacha. Clearly, within 3 tefachim of the ground alone is not considered a hanacha. So he said back to him, Amar Lei said back to Ravina, Misgalgel ka'amr. You're talking about a case where it was rolling. Misgalgel ain't sofo lanuach. A case of misgalgel is not sofo lanuach. Aval hai came into sofo lanuach. But in a case where it comes, in a normal case, where it comes within 3 tefachim of the ground, where it is going to come to rest, alpha gav de lo nach, command de nach dami, I might have thought that it's considered at rest, even though there is no moment of pause, there is no hanacha. Kamash Mala, no, it does need to have a moment of pause. It has to have some kind of hanacha. Rashi here explains, misgalgel ka'amrit. Now, misgalgel doesn't mean it's rolling on the ground. Rashi says it means davar shaharuach megalgelo ba'avir ka'amrit. You're talking about a case where the wind is blowing it around in different directions, but over here, kevan de sofa lanuach, here it's not going in different directions. Here it is clearly on its way towards landing. V'nizkar ad shalonach. And he remembers before it actually rests on the ground. Neima kamunach dami. There we actually have a havamina. Maybe we should say that since it was within 3 tefachim of the ground, it's as if it came to rest. Because this item was clearly sofo lanuach. It was on its way towards a hanacha, and it came within 3 tefachim of the ground. That's why it's a little different than our Mishnah. You might have thought it's considered hanacha, and that's why we're learning over here that it's not considered a hanacha. The Gemara now continues with the Mishnah. Hazorek biyam arba amos pater. If somebody throws in the sea 4 amos, he's pater. We've mentioned many times the yam is not a rishus harabim. It's considered a karmelis. It's only a rishus midrabanan. Now imhaya rekak mayim or rishus harabim halachas. But what if you have a puddle of water and there's a rishus harabim running through that area? Hazorek l'socho dalet amos chayiv. You throw 4 amos in that area, then you are going to be chayiv. The little amount of water, this puddle of water in the Rosh Hashanah does not nullify the Rosh Hashanah. The kamahu rekak mayim. Now, how much is considered a puddle of water? Pachos me'asar tvachim. It has to be less than 10 tvachim deep. Otherwise, it's already like a bore. Rekak mayim or Rosh Hashanah halachas bo. If you have a rekak mayim and a Rosh Hashanah is traversing through it, hazorek b'socho dalet amos chayv. If you throw there 4 amos in this Rosh Hashanah, you're going to be chayv. Now, that sounded like a total repeat of what we just said. The Gemara is going to discuss that. Rashi here explains, V'kamahu rekak mayim, how deep is this puddle of water? Kama omko, how deep does it have to be? The name Akati Rosh Hashanah, that we say it's still considered part of the Rosh Hashanah. The lo nasa karmelis, we don't say it becomes a karmelis. When I read the Mishnah, I said that if it was 10 tvachim deep, it becomes a Rosh Hashanah. That is indeed the opinion of some commentaries. The commentaries ask on Rashi why, if it's 10 tvachim deep, Rashi says it's a karmelis and not a Rosh Hashanah. That is a subject of a further discussion. The Gemara here says, Amar le'ahume rabbanon l'Rava. One of the rabbanon said to Rava, Bishlama hiluch trei zimni. I understand telling us 2 cases of hiluch. Hakamash malon hiluch al yedei hadachak shmei hiluch. It tells us that walking, even though it's an area where it's difficult to walk, it's still considered an area of normal walking. It's still considered part of the Rishus Harabim. Rashi here explains. Hiluch. The nakat trei zimni, Rishus Harabim mehalechas bo. It says 2 times in the Mishnah that there's a Rishus Harabim going through the Rekak Mayim. It says here in the first part of the Mishnah, Rekak Mayim or Rishus Harabim mehalechas bo, and then you throw 4 amos shechayev. And then it says again, Rekak Mayim or Rishus Harabim mehalechas bo. It says almost the exact same thing 2 times. So we understand that. Chad l'meimra, one of them is to say, di ein regilan lahalach bo pater, that if people don't walk through that area, you're going to be pater. It's not going to be Rishus Harabim. V'chi regilan lahalach bo chayev, and only when they regularly walk through it, you're going to be chayev. V'af agav di hilach al yedei adachak, even though it's hilach al yedei adachak, even though people sometimes walk through the area, that's not going to count for anything. V'chad lashminan, the davka hilach al yedei adachak shmei hilach. And then we repeat it a second time to say, only if it's al yedei adachak, it's hilach. Avol tashmish l'rabim al yedei adachak, but if it's just used, let's say you have a case where the rabbim use something al yedei adachak, not, they don't walk through it, they use the area. Kagon guma tisha b'rishus harabim. An example of that is, let's say you have a pit that's 9 deep in Rishus Harabim. Even though people might use it to hide things there, that's not considered tashmish if it's not regularly used. We're not going to say that that pit is considered part of the Rishus Harabim like we do say by a pillar that's 9 tvachim high, where people take things off their shoulder and put it on there. That we do say is considered Rishus Harabim. So in other words, the Gemara again says, HaKamash, when it comes to teach us, hilach al yedei adachak shmei hilach, that hilach al yedei adachak is considered hilach. Tashmish al yedei adachak lo shmei tashmish, but tashmish al yedei adachak is not tashmish. That's why it has to say hilach 2 times to say only hilach al yedei adachak is considered to be hilach. Only in that case it's considered part of the Rishus Harabim when they walk through the area, even though it doesn't happen often. But tashmish al yedei adachak, if they use the area, if it doesn't happen often, that's not considered anything, and that's not going to be considered part of the Rishus Harabim. Ela rekak trezim nilamali. But why do we have to repeat the case of a puddle? Rashi here says, Ela rekak trezim nilamali lashmin and hilach al yedei adachak achrina. Give us another case. Why are you giving us basically identical cases? A rekak mayim with a Rishus Harabim mahaleches bo, you throw there 4 amos yechayiv, and then again a rekak mayim with a Rishus Harabim mahaleches bo, you throw 4 amos yechayiv. Why give the exact same case? If you want to teach a halacha of hilach al yedei adachak, give 2 cases of hilach. You don't need to give the exact same scenario. So the Gemara answers, Chad b'yamos hachama v'chad b'yamos hageshamim. We're telling you a chiddush that it's true whether it's in the summertime or whether it's in the rainy season. We need to have both cases. If we only had one case, I might have said, okay, in the summer it's considered part of the Rishus Harabim. People like to walk through the water, cools them off a little bit. But in the rainy season, you wouldn't be considered an error. No one's going to walk in the water in a puddle in the rainy season. You can go the other way too. If I only told you a case in the rainy season, because he's already dirty, it's already wet everywhere, he doesn't mind walking through the puddle. But when he's clean and it's the summertime, why would he want to walk through water? So you don't know either case from the other case, and therefore we need to say it 2 times. Abaye gives another answer of why we need the case of the puddle twice. Abaye says, we need it. I might have thought that the puddle is only considered part of the Rishus Harabim where it's not 4 amos wide. It's easy to walk through. But where it's 4 amos, you're certainly going to walk around it, and in such a case it's not. You might have thought it's not going to be part of the Rishus Harabim, so we say the case twice to say even in that scenario, it's part of the Rishus Harabim. And Ravashi says another answer, we need it. I might have thought it's only true where it's 4 amos, but maybe if it's the other way around, if it's not 4 amos wide, mifsi pasila, you'll just jump right over it. You're not going to actually walk through the water, you'll jump over the water. So it's not going to be part of the Rishus Harabim. The Azda Ravashi Latime, in this logic, Ravashi follows what he said somewhere else. Ravashi said, Haiman de Zorik, V'noch aguda de gamla. If somebody throws and it lands on top of a board that's across a bridge, mechayev hischayev sharei rabim bokenbo, because the rabim go right through it. Rashi here explains, hechad dehav rachva dalet amos, to lav orchid lemifse. There, you're not going to jump over if it's 4 amos. Ela avri begave. You're going to walk right through it. So that's why Ravashi said in such a case where it's 4 amos wide, then of course it is going to be Rishus Harabim. And Rashi similarly said, Aguda de Gamla, al daf shebegesher. Let's say you have a board that's on a bridge. Hamuta l'rochav hagesher kashar hadafim umuvdal mechavero. Let's say it's a board on a bridge, but it's separated from the other ones. So in such a case, if you throw it on there, chayiv, you're chayiv. V'afa gav di ika demifsu pasi. Even though there are some people who jump right over it, v'lamanchi karayu Allah, they don't put their feet on that board. Ika tu v'davri Allah. There's many people that do walk through it, and therefore Rashi says, just like he says over here, even if it's something that a lot of people jump over, you might have thought it's not part of the Rishus Harabim. We say it is. So too over there, this little part of the bridge that many people jump over, but still, since some people do walk on it, it's considered part of the bridge. It's considered part of the Rishus Harabim, and you're chayiv if it lands on that area. The Gemara continues with the Mishnah, Hazorik min hayom liyabasha. Let's say somebody throws from the sea to the dry land. Umin hayabasha liyam, he throws from the land to the sea. Umin hayam l'sfina, he throws from the sea to the boat. Umin asfina liyam, he throws from the boat to the sea. Umin asfina lechaverto, he throws from one boat to another boat. Potter, in all of these cases, your Potter. Rashi explains, min hayom liyabasha mikarmelis Rishus Harabim, he's throwing from a Carmelis. The sea is considered a Rishus Derabanan. Min Hayam L'Sfina, Mi Carmelis Rishus Hayachid. The boat's considered Rishus Hayachid, but again, the sea is considered a Carmelis. In all these cases, since you're transferring from a Carmelis to a Rishus Harabim or a Rishus Hayachid, you're going to be Potter. It's not going to be an Isser Midoraisa. Sfinos Kishuros Zubazu. Now, let's say you have boats, one boat tied to another. So in such a case, Metaltal and Mizu Lazu, you are allowed to carry from one boat to the other if they're tied to one another. But if they're not tied to one another, even though they're close to one another, you cannot carry from one to the other. Rashi here explains, first of all, they're close to one another. Because there's a Carmelis between them, they're separated from each other. The Gemara will explain that these boats belong to two different people. You're normally not allowed to transfer from one Rishus Hayachid to a Rishus Hayachid that belongs to somebody else. However, Valiyadei Erev, they made an Erev, Metaltal Mizulazu, so they are technically allowed to transfer from one to the other. Hilkach ki mifrashu mifsaka Carmelis batal Erev. The Chiddush of the Mishnah is, if they're separated from each other, meaning even if they're close in proximity, but they're not tied to one another, the Carmelis that's between them is considered to be a separation, and you can't carry from one to the other, even though they made an Erev. The Gemara here says, Itmar, it was taught, Svina, when it comes to a boat, Rav Huna Amar Motzian Heimen Aziz Kolshu Umamali. You take a little board of wood and you stick it out, and you can then fill up water and bring it up onto the boat. Rav Chisda and Rav Huna, but Rav Chisda and Rav Huna are more strict, and they say, Osa Mokam Arba, you have to make almost a box that's 4x4 tefachim, create walls of Rishus Hayachid, Umamali, and only then can you fill up from the water and bring to the boat. Rashi explains, Sfina hamefarish besfina bayam. Somebody's in a boat traveling on the sea. Motzi ziz kol shumi dofne hasfina alamayim. Just take any little piece of wood and stick it out of the walls of the boat over the water. Leheker biyalma. It's just for a heker. It's just to show that you are aware of the halachas of transferring from one rishus to the other. There's no real isser going on. As will be explained. Umemali minayam umachnes l'sfina. And again, we said certainly it's not an isser doraisa, the yam's a carmelis, but here even l'chatzchila, there's not even going to be an isser midrabanan as long as you stick out this ziz from the boat. But the other opinion is a little stricter. Makam arba chalal dalin mukov mechitzas ketanas. You make like 4 small walls so that it's almost like it almost looks like the walls of Rosh Hashanah. Umechitza taluya materes b'mayim, and a hanging mechitza. You have this mechitza hanging over the water that works when it comes to water. We have certain leniencies when it comes to mayim, even though this wouldn't be a bona fide mechitza, a real Rishus Harabim, a real Rishus Hayachid. But in this case, when you're just taking from the water to the ship, we're lenient to allow a mechitza tluya. So the Gemara now explains further what is this machlokas here between the opinion of Rav Huna and the opinion of Rav Chisda and Rabbi Bar Rav Huna. Rav Huna Ramotzi Heiman Aziz Kol Shumamali Kosavar Carmelis Me'aram Ashkinan. Rav Huna's opinion is the Carmelis of the sea really starts from the bottom of the sea. Va'avira Makam Ptur. So the water that you're taking from the sea, it's already a Makam Ptur. You're not even taking from a Carmelis, according to Rav Huna's opinion. The Carmelis only goes from the bottom of the sea up 10 Tvachim. Any water above 10 Tvachim is really a Makam Ptur. A makam p'tor, who it's really a makam p'tor. V'dinu deziz nami lo liba. You don't even need the ziz. Ela ki echi d'la'avalei hakeru. We want you to make a little hecker so people won't get confused and think you can transfer l'chatzchila from a Carmelis to a Rishus Hayachid. We don't want people to get confused, so we have this hecker. This is like a recognition. People will realize, oh, this is a different case. Rav Chisda v'Rabbi Rav Huna, now Rav Chisda and Rabbi Rav Huna, they say, Osa makam arba umemale. They say you have to actually make these hanging mechitzos to fill up and to draw water into your boat. Because they hold Carmelis misvas maya mashchinan. The Carmelis actually starts from the top of the water, maya arasmichta, because the water has a halacha basically of land. It's just a continuation of the land that it's sitting in. So therefore, it's a real Carmelis. Ilo avin makam arbaf. You don't make these mechitzas teluyos kamatalto mi Carmelis to Rishus Hayachid. You're going to be carrying from a Carmelis, which is a Rishus Rabbanan, to a Rishus Hayachid. It's not an Isser Doraisa, but it's an Isser Rabbanan. So we allow you to make these mechitzas teluyos. Amar le Rav Nachman l'Rabbi Bar Avua. Rav Nachman says to Rabbi Bar Avua, Rav Huna da Amar Motzi Yemen a ziz kolshu mamali. According to Rav Huna, who's lenient and just says you use a ziz kolshu and that's good enough. So zimnin de leka asar v'kamataltal min karmelis lo shesayachin. Sometimes won't the depth of the sea? It's not even going to be 10 tvachim, and then you are going to be carrying from a karmelis to shesayachin. Amar lei setem gamrinan de'ein svina malachas b'pachos me'asar. He says it's known that ships don't travel with less than 10 tvachim in the depths. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? V'ha morsha islay. What about the front area? Rashi here explains, Morsha Islay, Rosh Hasvina, the front of the ship, is much higher than the water. It's not going to get stranded over there. That front of the ship, I understand that the middle of the ship goes deep into the water. Obviously, it's got to be at least 10 Tvachim deep. It's going to be more than 10 Tvachim deep. But from the front of the ship, if that's where you're filling the area, certainly it might be a very shallow area. So the Gemara says, Amar of Safar says, Geshushe Azli Kama. Geshushe were people who were in the front of the ship and they would use poles and test the depths of the water. They wouldn't want to get too close to a shallow area, so they are going to use their rods to determine whether it's shallow, and it's never going to happen that they're going to travel in an area less than 10 tefachim deep. Amar Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak Rav Chia bar Avin. So Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak said to Rav Chia bar Avin, Rav Chisda ul-Rav bar Rav Huna, according to the opinions of Rav Chisda and Rav bar Rav Huna, the Amri Osa Makam Arbo Umamali, they're strict, and they say you need to make these hanging walls in order to fill the water. So Shofchin Didei Hechi Shadilu, how do you pour stuff out of the ship? Rashi here says, Shofchin Didei Mayim Run. Let's say a bad water could go to Rechitzas Kosas Ukaras. Let's say you're washing cups or plates on the ship, and now you want to pour the water out into the sea. How are you going to do that? You're throwing from Rosh Hashanah to a Carmelis. Now, if you're going to throw it through the same hanging walls that you set up, misile, that's disgusting. The same area that you're bringing in water, you're throwing out water. That's not going to work. So the Gemara says, no, the shadilu adafna desvina. That's easy. You just throw it onto the wall of the ship and let it roll off the ship into the water. So the Gemara says that's still a problem. V'ika kocho, it's still kocho. Rashi says, v'ika kocho nihidolo zorik lehed yam. Okay, you're not throwing directly from Rosh Hashanah into the yam, into the Carmelis. Miu mikocho hein baim liyam. It's still his koach that's causing it to travel from the Rosh Hashanah to the Carmelis. Why isn't that a problem? So the Gemara says, kocho b'Carmelis lo gazru. When it came to Carmelis, they weren't so strict, and they didn't say that kocho is a problem. And how do you know that? The Tanya we learned in the Brisa, Sfina ein metalfel lo mitocha liyam v'lo min hayam l'socha. It says in this Brisa that when it comes to a Sfina, you can't carry from it to the sea or from the sea to it. And the Brisa will continue. We'll see that in the next video on Daf Kuf Aleph Amud Aleph.